all you're looking for. Now, in this industry, you're looking for those red apples. We call them red apples in this business. People who are sharp, the darkly cooks in the business. You know, the little kids in the business. Those, you know, the high towers. You know, those are the key people. That high towers, those key people. Those are the reds in the business. I'm just naming a few names. There's a ton of reds that are out there. We just talk about names. Maria Diathi, these are key red people. You're looking for those reds because the reds are the ones that you will have to have a least bit of the connection where you know that they're going to do what they need to do. They're coachable. They're ready for the work to make it happen. So you're looking for those reds. That's what's on your list. You want to find all those reds on your list. You're going to find that you have less reds than you do other colors, and we call those blues, and we call them greens in this industry. But you're going to have less reds. Why? Because there's very few reds. You know, one of my favorite mentors, Jim Rohn, you know, he talks about, you know, looking for the shark, looking for the weird, looking for that diamond in the rough. They're out there, but you got to be willing to do the work to go through them. You may have to go through 500 people to find that first one. You have to go through 1,000 to find that first one. But if you keep digging long enough, it's going to happen. You're going to find those reds. Now, what we do in this business, we sort, we do not sell. You're looking to identify the reds. You have your green apples too, those who have questions that may want to get something answered before getting involved with you. And then you have what we call your rotten apples. Now, they changed the lingo a little bit. They changed it from rotten to now brown. But understand, it's still the exact same thing. I like the word rotten. But here's the key. A brown and or rotten apple, there's two different types of them. You're going to have your brown or rotten apples that don't want to do any kind of business with you. It's totally negative. Negative to the point that they walk into a dark room, they would just tell them. That's how negative they are. That's not the one you want to build your business. You don't want you to have a customer. They don't want to help you out in any way whatsoever. So then you have those brown or rotten that are brown maybe now, but you know later on they may support you. So you can distinguish those two types when you have that conversation. So keep in mind that you're looking to sort through the list to find those reds, those greens, those who want to help you build your business either as a team builder or a team member. And there is a difference. A team builder are those who are just like you and want to build an organization. A team member are those who just want to utilize the product and be a customer but will support you in your business. Those are the ones you want, those customers and those customer getters. So keep that in mind. Now, here's the most important part about this piece. Your expert that you're working with, your upline or either your workout business partner, sideline, frontline, downline, doesn't matter, but whoever your workout business partner is, this is the person that's going to do all of the talking. I have a number that I give you. We do 95%, you do 5%. But even myself, I can explain this business to anybody. I don't do that. I do the exact same thing because they don't know my position. They don't know my education level of this industry. All I'm doing is trying to get the yes from them and pass them to the expert or somebody they don't know. Because here's the reason why. People who you speak to, who begin to build a trust with you, but they may not respect your business opinion. They're going to get that from somebody that they don't know. That's why it's always effective to use someone else that they don't know because they're going to listen to them versus just hearing you. There's a major difference. So your keyword is utilize your expert. And again, this portion right here is the least unutilized piece that we have. People are not using this enough. That's why a lot of the businesses are settling. You got to use the process. When you use the process and internalize the process, you will have great results every single time. Keep that in mind for yourself. Now, we're talking about the three-way conversation. We're getting into the three-way call. We got the peak out the way. We're going into the three-way conversation. Now, what I want you guys to do, I'm going to give you an exercise. I want you to write down on a piece of paper right now the shape of a diamond, the baseball diamond, nice and big on a piece of paper. I want you to put little squares on each corner of the diamond. The squares that you put on that paper represents the bases. Your home base, which would be closest to you. To the upper right would be your first base. At the top would be your second base. To the far left corner would be your third base. This is the process in a nutshell. Your goal when you're out in the marketplace, when you're doing your peaking and your passing, or your prospecting, is what I should say. You're starting at home base. Your goal is to pick the prospect's interest to move them to the first base in the process. Now, what does that mean? When I'm out there in the marketplace and I'm speaking to Mr. Clement Boyd, Mr. Boyd, how you doing? Excellent. Listen, Are you open to making some additional income outside of what you're currently doing right now? That's the peak. And he tells me, yes, I am. Great. First base. I'm moving him now to first base. Now, what does first base look like? First base represents now the silver call. It represents now some third-party information. It represents now some videos that you may send through quick recruit. It's just additional information, a little bit more of what you teach him. Are you open? Now, I'm going to share with him now just a little bit more of what I want to share with him. That's first base. Now, the goal is to move him from first to where? Second base. Now, once he's been introduced to a little bit more information, I'm going to now move him towards second base. Now, what does second base look like? I'm setting up now to get him involved on a three-way call. Well, listen, Mr. Boyd, I gave you some information. You had a chance to look at some of what I gave you. Did you like what you've seen so far? Absolutely, Mr. Boyd. It makes a lot of sense. I can see I can get healthy using this product. I can make some extra money. This is great. What else do you have? Well, listen, I don't want to mess this up for you, but I'm working directly with someone that can give you all the details you need to hear about what I'm sharing with you right now. See, I just recently myself got involved, and I want to make sure that you get this information just like I received it, because I was very excited just like you are. I want you to get it just like I got it. And the person I'm going to tell you about, I'm telling you, this person is absolutely awesome. They're like the Michael Jordan in this industry. I didn't say he was Michael Jordan. I didn't add a lie. I'm edifying right now. He's like the Michael Jordan in this business. She's like the Oprah Winfrey in this business. Let me tell you, this man, he's out of the Philadelphia market. He goes by the name of Mr. I got much respect for him, Mr. Canute Forbes. He got a money last name, Forbes. Here's someone who's working directly with me. He's helping me out with all the details. He's helped me out growing this opportunity in this area. And when I looked at this for the first time, when he shared it with me, I thought about you. So that's why I shared it with you. I had to share it with you, Mr. Boyd. So listen, he's a very busy man, but I told him earlier that I was going to possibly get you on the call with him for a couple of minutes. Now, he's very, very busy. So is it okay if I give him a phone call and get him on the phone so you can ask him and talk to him in any way possible and ask him any type of questions that you choose to? And he'll be more than happy to answer them just like he did for me. Great. Listen, second base. Let me get Mr. Boyd on the phone. Mr. Boyd, listen. I'm sorry. Mr. Forbes, listen. I have Mr. Boyd, someone who has just shared information with who's open to hearing a little bit more. Mr. Forbes, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule because I know you're very, very busy. So I told you to give him a couple minutes of your time to give him a little bit more about what's going on. Is that okay? Excellent. I'm going to introduce him out of respect. Mr. Canute Forbes, I have on the line Clement Boyd. Clement Boyd, I have on the line Mr. Canute Forbes. That's the respect. You always want to build up the expert that's going to be speaking to your prospect. Never go, Canute Forbes, I have Mr. Clement Boyd on the phone. No. Be edifying the expert now. Remember, you want to hype up the information so that the person will be more and open to hearing what the person has to say to them based on what you shared with them. So, Mr. Canute Forbes, I have on the line Clement Boyd, Mr. Canute Forbes. And you as the representative, at that point of introduction, you are quiet. Don't say another word. You let the expert now talk to your prospect. Right. Now, I want you to also keep in mind too, always contact the person that you're working with ahead of time to make sure that they are aware of what's going to be done as far as getting them on the phone with some prospect of yours. Always open up the window for the expert to be available for you. So you call them and say, Mr. Flanagan, I'm going to be doing some prospect between the hours of 3 and 5. Can I count on you to do some three-way for me? Absolutely. So now I know as an expert that I'm going to be getting some calls from my representatives that I'm going to be doing three-way calls for. So when I see that call come through, I know I can drop what I'm doing and do that call for them right away. It's all about the business. All right? So now you've got your prospect on the phone with the expert. Now the expert is going to tell them everything else they need to know. Nothing else comes from you. You just peek and pass, give them the information, and now the three-way call is taking place. That's second base. That's what it looks like. Now, the goal of the expert is to now take your prospect and move them to third base. That's our responsibility. Now, third base looks like a home meeting, a one-on-one, even a weekly event, whatever it may be that you want to invite them to see what? A little bit more. So now you have moved your prospect to third base because the expert invited them out. Well, listen, there's going to be a meeting held at the Renaissance Center, 1000 Spring Street and room, whatever it may be, Bergen room, and it's going to start at 7:30 sharp. I want to personally invite you out and be a guest to see exactly what we're doing. And even more important than that, collaborate. I'm giving you an open invitation that you can also bring a few friends with you. Bring a few friends, because if it makes sense to you what I'm sharing now, it's going to make sense to somebody else. So I'm inviting you out personally to come out to sit with us to see exactly what's going on. So now they're open, they're ready to go to that next stage, that third base. Now, third base is the meeting. They're taking a look at the opportunity, like again, either at the weekly meeting, the home showcase or event, whatever it may be that you want to invite them to, that one-on-one, to give them the overview of what we've been sharing from base 1 now into base 3. Now, in the meeting now, they're going to see a little bit more. People that just may be like themselves, that are out to take a look at the opportunity. Now you're ready to close them in, because once they come into a meeting and you get somebody to that third base, you have pretty much got them closed. Because remember, you're sorting in this business. So when you're sorting, you're going through that list of those prospects to find out who you can get to that third base. Anytime you can move somebody from first to third, you're almost guaranteed either a customer or a customer getter, a team builder or a team member. It never, ever fails when you put them through the proper process. So now in that third base, in the meeting is now done. It's over. It's time to either get your clients in the garment, let them sample your product. They've seen the overview opportunity, so now they're ready to make a decision. At this point, which is very critical, you want to now bring your prospect and introduce them to the speaker in the room. Always introduce your prospect and let them close your guest into the business or either as a customer. Now, what do I mean by close? If they see an opportunity for themselves, most importantly, let them do that. That's still the role of the expert. Remember, we're doing 95%, they're doing 5%. So you want that the person speaking, the one who's in the room doing a presentation, let them close your guest. Make sure you introduce them to the role, to the person that's doing the presenting. Introduce your guest to them. Very, very important that you do that. Now, if you can't get to the person doing the presenting, make sure you get your prospect in front of one of the leaders in the room, preferably either the supervisors and above, because they're a little bit more experienced to help you with the close of your guest. But we will always want to get them in front of the person or introduce to the person that's actually doing the meeting for the presentation. But if you can't, again, use the expert. Now, what's going to happen from this point? Once they see an opportunity for themselves, that's going to come from the expert. They're going to now bring them on home. Now, what does home look like? They're now ready to go. They've got that garment. They're excited. They're ready to app themselves up and get into the business and start going to work. The training comes in at that point. Training, training, training. From that last step number 6, now the training starts. Now, what does it look like for a new person? Bring them on home now. Launching their business right, the 8-step program. What to do next? Starting the 6 steps. Bring that list. Starting with number 1. Setting up their events, their first 3 meetings. Getting them prepared and ready, writing down their why. You know, all of this takes place in that, you know, getting into that first meeting. Getting them trained, getting them ready to move to that next level. Remember, all the new people that you bring into your business, we have to nurture them like a baby, like a mother protects her child, like a father protects their family. You have to nurture them. You can't just get them in your business and expect them to learn it by osmosis. No, you have to teach them step by step, because this may be their first time doing this type of business. So you have to teach them. You have to develop them so they're crawling, then they're walking, then they're able to start running. And then you want to duplicate that process all over again. That's bringing them on home. Now, very, very important before we close, you never, ever bring a prospect to the business and you go to second base and skip first. You go to third and skip first. You go to third and skip second and first. No, because when you do that, you are ruining that person's opportunity because you didn't do the right process. You have to put everyone through the proper process. And if you use this system, I'm telling you, it will be very effective. You will always have people who are going to have their staying power and be in your back office, building your business, instead of those that are going to get there and then fall short. You don't want that. You want those going to have their staying power and be around for years and years and years. That's the key to this process. That's the key to prospecting and recruiting. So that being said, I'm hoping you got something out of this training tonight. You know, I know we went quick. We only have 30 minutes to get this done, but I'm sure you got something out of it. I believe this is being recorded. If not, I do have this segment on recording, and I'll get this out on Facebook so you guys can get the information, just in case you want to go back play, rewind, and restudy and relearn, because key thing is this: you want to study, you want to practice, and then you want to teach it. And this is what we're doing. That's what's going to elevate all of us to that next level. So with that being said, I'm going to pass this back over to our host, Mr. Clement Boyd. Appreciate you. I hope you got something out of it. And I'll talk to you guys on the next Connect call with Ardyss International. Welcome to the family, you guys. I really appreciate you that's out there. Let's make it happen. Let's go to work. Let's not give up. We have work to do. Let's make it happen. Back to you, Mr. Boyd. Wow. Wow.
Mr. Flanagan, thank you. I'm at a loss of words. You got anything out of this call? Your wood is wet, and I don't know what to say. So, phenomenal call. Here's the thing that I want all of you to recognize. Mr. Flanagan just gave you. He gave you the information. He gave you the toolkit that if you apply the information he just shared with you, you could make bare minimum. And I don't make any income claims. Let me put it first. I don't make any income claims. But I'm very confident in my experience and based on the people that I've been around in my career. He's giving you a tool set that if you apply the information that he just shared with you, you could make an extra bare minimum 6 figures in 2016. Again, no income claims. I'm just telling you what I know based on my experience. Here's the thing that's even more exciting. Mr. Flanagan just gave you a piece of what's going to happen in Houston, Texas, June 10th and June 11th. If this doesn't motivate you to go buy your ticket right now, I don't know what else to tell you. You've got to go get registered for this event, Ardyss Ignite, Houston, Texas, June 10th, June 11th, 2016, events.ardisslife.com. This is just a piece of what you will get at that event. So, Mr. Flanagan, we thank you. We appreciate you for all that you and your wife, your lovely wife, do for us. Thank you for your leadership. And
before I want to interrupt you. Just in case, I'm not sure if this platform was recorded, but I'd like to put out a recording of the training I did on Friday, this past Friday. I trained the exact same topic. So if they want to go back, they can listen to the information to be there until next week, Friday. So here's the calling number. This is 641-715-3655. That's 641-715-3655. And the PIN code, I'm sorry, instead of 55, it's 58, so it'll be recorded. So it's 3658, not 3655, I'm sorry, 3658. So that's 641-715-3658. And the PIN code is 858949. 858949. You can hear recorded this training we did last Friday on that phone call. All right, thank you, Mr. Ward, I appreciate it.
You're absolutely welcome. Here's another hint, clue. If I were you, I would take that number down and I would listen to that call at least 10 to 15 times this week. And I would also get registered for Houston because Mr. Flanagan will be one of our trainers on stage. You want to get as much information. Just think about it, he's just one of our trainers, okay? So imagine if you think this training that you did tonight, this is just tip of the iceberg. Imagine what's going to happen in Houston. There's no way coming out of Houston you can't change your life with this business within Ardyss life. So with that, we want to thank everyone for being on the call. Thank you again, Mr. Flanagan. Thank you, Mrs. Flanagan, for loaning your husband for half hour. We appreciate that as well. We appreciate all that everyone on the call does for us on a daily basis. Corporate truly appreciates it. So with that being said, as you all know, an appointment with Ardyss will change your life. Good night, everyone.
To register? Mm-hmm. And how much are you charging to register?
I'll find out.
Can you send the email right now?